everyone. We're Team Deep Clearance, and so just to talk about our problem a little bit more again, it's more about gaining the situational awareness of the battlefield. However, that has evolved into understanding the connection error that we have from getting signals from inside a cave outside to the receiving end. So this week, we really wanted to focus on more of the technology aspects so we can understand how we can actually make that work. And this also relates back to the 3 pains, or the 4 VPCs that we talked about last week, how all of our most important beneficiaries have this equal pain of the connection loss that we have. So my name is Michael Zern. I'm an engineering major.
My name is Josh. I'm a nursing major.
My name is Marshall, IA major.
I'm Giovanna. I'm a bio major. And I'm Casey. I'm a CIS major.
Okay, so here's our second comic. It's from a different perspective this time. It's actually from the commander of who the call would go back to. So here we have shots have been fired from the cave, and the leader on the field is calling back to the commander. And the commander is pondering about how he can fix a problem. So he calls the tech people that he knows, and he sits here waiting, and he's wasting valuable time because they can't find technology. And here are officers, rangers, searching for technology to fix the connection issue. And officer right here says, I wonder what we could do. We could get a technology that would transmit frequencies and data outside of a cave, and in solution would do that for us.
So this week we kind of revamped our MVP again. In the process of conducting our interviews this week, we did find out that swarm technology is actually at a more advanced stage than we originally thought. And autonomous drone swarms are actually a very feasible way of tackling our problem. So we still kept with the same idea that we have 2 lead drones, one carrying one sort of sensor, so either a thermal camera or an IR camera, some sort of camera that can actually see in the dark. The other would be carrying a mapping sensor, which could be Google Tango, or we have another type of technology that we're looking into, Structure IO, which does also some mapping very quick and in real time. They would all have batteries and flight controllers on them, wireless receivers, and they would all communicate with each other, and they'd all be run off a predetermined program. So they would know what each other is doing, what roles they play after a certain amount of time or battery life. They would either drop out of formation to make the link, which then would leave the sort of breadcrumb analogy that we used last week back to the commander outside the cave who is using this technology. Now, another major aspect of this MVP in using it is what, or at least we theorize could be used as a bounding Overwatch type situation, where we have roughly maybe 6 drones or something like that, so they're not too big and they can be easily carried. And as the drones advance in the cave and clear the cave, and everyone sees that this part of the cave is clear, the rangers would follow up behind the drones, and then the ones that are sitting on the floor would then take off to join the front, and in essence providing Overwatch in the front as the rangers actually moved in to clear it, and then they could tackle any threats real time before the enemy knew that they were even there or that they had even been seen. So another aspect of the technology that we're looking at is the Fatshark headset. It's a first-person view, and it operates with a camera this size, and it can be mounted on a drone, and it feeds back via a transmitter back to an antenna that actually comes off this headset here. And what it allows you to do is you put this on a drone, and you can actually see what the drone is seeing. Hooked up with LEDs or finding some other thermal camera that actually works with this system, the rangers could actually get a first-person view, not just right on the tablet or anything, but a first-person view right to their eyes in order to see what is actually in the cave, so they can see if a heat signature is a person or say it's a generator in there that they couldn't necessarily see just on the tablet.
Okay, so kind of going hand in hand with the connection issue, they also have a mapping issue, so we wanted to figure out how can we map the inside of the cave for them and get the data back out. So actually last week in interviews, we came across this Structure IO, which is a 3D mapping sensor. Basically, you would stick that on a drone, it would go in, map the area, and feed the data back out onto a tablet. Even more than that, we found basically the Google Tango, which we talked about last week, is a slimmed down version of that is already connected to a phone. So basically what we were thinking is take the Structure IO or the Google mapping sensor, put it onto a small phone that can then get connection, with the other breadcrumbs caves, you would get it back out to the rangers. So basically we did a lot of research, talked to a lot of people about this mapping. It's kind of basically what we were looking for the entire time, and we came across it within the last couple weeks.
So with our future plans, we're definitely going to explore the Google Tango project, specifically like Casey said, because of its small size, be able to put on a drone easily, as well as open our minds to other technology. We're just not going to reduce ourselves to these that are already available to us, but also look for similar technology that does the same stuff and accomplishes the same goal. For interview-wise, we're definitely going to focus with technology experts, vendors. I spoke to Helios and Leidos before, and I'm going to get some more contacts with them and specifically talk to them about this technology and what their feedback is. And we officially confirmed that we'll be going to Fort AP Hill March 21st with the Rangers as well as our sponsors, and we're really excited to see them in person, see their action, and really get more feedback from them and explore all their stuff they have for us as well. And they're going to try to get their hands on a Google Tango. I don't know, we'll see, or even just any technology that they have, and we're going to try to show them the technology as well. So thank you, and that's our presentation for this week.
All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, my question for you is, is it part of your problem to tell them what technologies they need to explore the space, or is really the crux of the problem getting the signal relay back out?
So when we first talked with our sponsors, they laid out the problem very clearly to us. It's they want to overall, number one, just know if anyone's in the cave, what's their status, so on and so forth, what's in the cave. However, none of that has been able to be accomplished because of the connection error. So it's a mixture of combining all these technologies in one drone, however, focusing mainly on the connection, because otherwise everything is working fine.
So my advice would be, it seems like you have that crux, that critical point that needs to be addressed before you explore too much of the space of sensor technology, right?
We do actually, I mean, they did say that the types of technology that we're talking about is what they're looking for. But what our problem is working with the communication is restructuring what technology is actually out there, because we would love to use some of the really high power sensors, but those require a lot of battery and they're heavy, so we're trying to balance.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. It's just make sure that you're aiming the correct direction during the week to really targeting, understanding the technology that getting the sensor signals out, because that takes precedent over what type of sensors you're going to put in.
Yeah, I also think it kind of goes, like with this Structure IO and with the Google Tango, it's already hooked up to something that possibly could have connection. So it kind of all goes like a little bit hand in hand. If we're looking for something that already has a possible connection to get us out, then yeah.
This is my first week getting to see your new format. I'm curious to hear later what you thought about it. I like the visuals. That was useful to me to kind of connect with you during your presentation. I did miss some of the structure and language from the prior format, so I'm wondering if there's ways you can pull some of that in without doing those slides. So, for example, the hypothesis, putting that into this in some fashion, and maybe you did, perhaps you did, but I missed it. But so some of that language may be useful to help us to connect this to the objectives that we have for you here.
Well, we tried. So, like, the goal, like, in the introduction, that was basically, like, it kind of is very similar to a hypothesis. Like, that was our accomplishment for this week. Then with, with the comic, different beneficiary, so we're trying to portray the information, I understand what you're saying, but in a, not just show our mission model canvas.
Without the lack of the actual, like, the buzzwords.
I think it's a good idea, and the clearer you can make it for us that you're meeting the objectives, the easier it is for us to pull that out and give you a good grade on it.
For the actual drone that's doing the mapping in the cave, is that going to be a manual process or is this automatic?
With the swarm technology, we can actually make it automatic. We can literally say, all right, you take, or essentially, whatever the swarm looks like, whatever, you know, if it's 6 drones, if it's 2 in the front, 2 on the sides, 2 in the back, tell the mapping drone that's with the 2 in the front, okay, you go like this angle in front, the one over here will do this chunk, this one will do this chunk, and then they communicate with each other saying, okay, this is what I have, don't come over here, so then they actually do it themselves and figure out what they're mapping.
Is there going to be like any manual part associated with it?
So let's switch back to the MVP. So we also have an optional gaming controller, because it's something that everyone's familiar with, that they can actually plug in and possibly take control. So if they want to investigate something further, they can plug it in, switch which drone that they actually want to take control of, and then look at stuff that way.
Everyone's a strong word, I'll say that, first of all. But what I was going to ask is, so you're generating an incredible amount of data, and the post-process on that is not a non-trivial, I would imagine, a non-trivial process. So how, like, are your sponsors or anybody, are they concerned about how that post-process will work? And I don't want you to answer it. Maybe that's something that you can ask the people that you're interviewing.
Great job, guys.
All right, 1, 2, 3.